Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 1st, 2023 Farmington School Board meeting. I'll call the meeting to order. If everybody would join for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do we have any public participation?
Joel does.
Okay.
What?
Joel does.
Recycle percussion.
Oh,
We can tag team.
go ahead.
Okay.
So we made it into the top 5, and they have about 48 hours to put together a very long list of questions, one of which is venue. And
Erica had reached out to me last week, and I told her that I would do my best to make the high school gym available if they needed that. Practices for volleyball games are relatively easy to move to Henry Wilson if we need to. There's a home game. I gave Erica the dates of the home games that I couldn't move.
she said she had those. Yeah.
Otherwise, if here is some place you're looking to do, I think everything else is movable.
Yeah. The only other question I had was, are we covered? I mean, there's going to be setup fees, and people are going to have to be paid to be on board when they bring all their equipment in and take it out, things like that. There'll be probably overtime for custodial staff.
And we don't know the date yet.
Right.
So that's the hard part, because I said, so do you have a date?
No.
And she said,
Did you
no.
go to that meeting last night?
I
Mary?
did not.
See, I couldn't make it either. So that's why I'm not prepared to speak too much about it.
I followed the thread as it went along, but
Yeah.
I don't know any more about it than that.
I mean, essentially,
Sorry, Larry.
no, we didn't have a date, so it's up to you to comment.
Right,
you
right.
know?
Yeah.
But you look good there. I mean, essentially, Recycle Percussion was looking and soliciting towns to show off their pride. And
Right.
it sounds like they were inundated with emails from people in Farmington. I mean, if you look at the list of the 5
Much
cities
bigger town.
and
Cities,
one
yeah.
town that made it, like, we are just
Mhm.
so small compared to everyone else. It's a pretty big deal. Now they want to come and put on a concert. So
And they're
we-
talking about filming their show here during the day. as
Oh, I
well.
didn't know that.
They're gonna wander around
Okay.
town, I think,
Yeah.
and maybe have some setup meetings.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's not just the concert, it's like an all-day showcase of Farmington for part of their show, which is awesome. But as I told Erica, it's not free, because it wasn't free when they came and did the concert for the kids a few years back. They did middle and high
Oh,
school.
This is gonna be different, though.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Did
it's
we
different.
hire them?
Yeah.
Or-
Well,
not,
we won it.
posted.
We
yeah.
won it, and then there was a fee.
Right.
So I'm not 100% sure where this will go either. I said it might be free, but I don't know that I would count on. I think there's a cost that's involved. So
That
The
definitely
question
needs-
I had, and unfortunately couldn't go to that meeting last night, is who is the organization communicating with? Did email blasts go out to everyone who sent them an email saying congratulations? Because I mean,
it's
we've got a
posted
committee
online.
that seemed to be spearheaded by Kathy Seaver. She's almost would call
Well, I
her
do it all the
Kathy
time.
Seaver. But you know,
Yeah.
with the venue going to be here, we need a point of contact,
right. And
obviously.
Erica has been communicating with me what she knew, but it was
Big.
minor.
Yeah.
We definitely need to see if there is a number involved. The
Right.
last time, at the very last minute, there was like $6,000 involved. I'm like, yeah, I'm not into that.
They discounted it some. I think the school ended up paying $1,500 for each school, and then the arts boosters kicked in the balance for when they came here, just for those 2 concerts. But those were 2 concerts in one day,
Right.
just for the kids. It wasn't open to everybody. So that's some questions that I have as far as timing. It's one thing if they aren't coming in until after school If they need to commandeer the place for the entire day, that shifts. If it's raining, where do I put my PE classes? You know, those sorts of things. So,
I
Now, if
suspect
it's-
that at last night's meeting, there's been a point of contact established.
I hope.
Is that safe to
Yeah.
assume?
I know that Kathy Seaver and Erica have been working together. Kathy helped her write the original, like,
That was it.
3-page document about
Yeah.
Farmington, and Erica's called me, I don't know, 3 or 4 times and asked me to fill in some of the blanks, because I'm, the old fogey in town. I have a,
and I
Okay.
know she said they were going to the selectmen tonight, so
Okay.
we could watch the selectmen's meeting.
but
Now, if there
Field
is a
trip.
cost involved, and that falls, whatever falls on the school, since it's a community event, can we apply ESSER
mean-
funds if needed?
That's a good question. I don't know. Because their first question has been, how does this mitigate or prepare for COVID? It's a real shot in the arm for people who went through it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can spin it that way. But as far as saying, this is educationally necessary because of COVID,
But
a little harder.
one of the chapters in Esser talked about involving your community, which is,
Right.
what's the
Mhm.
big push for Spring Fling.
Right.
And technically, this could be,
Yes, I mean, it's certainly community involvement. That's
Mhm.
easy. It's Larry got done looking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry, for your input.
Yes. Amanda, any words? Amanda.
anytime.
Sorry. Well, we know this. We know that the school is supportive of using our facility as a venue, as long as we don't get trapped in a bunch of costs. But
I mean-
I personally, as a board member, don't want to see kids' activities pushed aside, like
Right.
volleyball. I mean, practice is one thing, but games,
Right.
you know,
Practice is easy enough to move to Henry Wilson, but
Um,
games, I'm not looking to shift.
but maybe we should wait and see what comes out of the selectmen's meeting.
Right.
And if, and it sounds like they want to do this in May.
When Erica contacted me, they were looking at the second and third weeks of May,
So we
which
may
is
have to
like
have-
next week and the week after.
Right.
Mm.
We may
thing.
have to have an additional meeting then,
Yeah.
based on the fact that we don't have all the information.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that possibility, this is the very first I've heard of a glimmer of cost. Although I will say, one of the other committee members mentioned to me that my company could be a collection point for donations, and I'm thinking,
Right, yeah.
donations? But they talk donations to help cover fire, EMT, additional traffic staff, and
Right.
kind of a lot of town things. So a bunch of us.
And
were
it
gonna
may
kick in
be
and
that there
cover it.
isn't that other cost that there was when they came to the school.
Right.
But there was a cost involved.
I do, if I can add in, the other thing I want to be careful of is AP testing that's gonna be happening here in the high school.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How come you're not up here?
The other concern that I just would want to make sure that we're checking that it's not going to interfere with testing that's happening here at the high school. They will be having AP exams, testing, and their New Hampshire SAS science test. So just to take those into consideration too. So for example, for the science test, they'll likely use the gymnasium.
What's the date? Do you remember?
I can look it up and let
Okay.
you know. I do have it.
Okay.
Are the AP tests just in the classroom?
The AP tests are usually,
She just said, Jim,
well, SAS tests would be in the gym. The AP tests are a smaller number of kids.
The only concern is if they're here during the day.
Right.
Yeah.
If
Talking
it's
about some
disruptive.
kind of filming, that could be disrupted.
Mhm.
Well,
Yes.
And there's a
to the-
possibility that the AP tests could be moved off-site. We've done them at the First Baptist Church in the past. We've done them at the VFW. I don't know if Friends of Farmington would be available, but we've done them off-site. So that might be another way to do that.
they don't have a date, we have groups that meet in here on certain days. and
Right,
That
yeah.
changes all the time, so
Okay.
it would just be a quick phone call, I can find out.
Okay.
But, so I guess we need to keep that on the burner here.
Right.
The other thing I didn't realize until late last night was we're one of 5, but amongst the 5, they're still going to pick the most.
Right.
The one, yeah,
Yes.
and then it'll.
Based on their filming?
I don't know if it's
I'm
based
thinking-
on filming, if it's based on the email responses.
There is, yeah, well, and, Erica had a second or a third batch of 10 questions.
Mm.
And she called me and she goes, I don't have, I need help me fill in the blanks. So we spent about an hour doing that, and I think they're starting with this and coming down
Yeah.
to one person. So I'm guessing that it's all the background information that we have to tell them who's gonna design a T-shirt, things
gotcha,
like
okay.
that, so. The other thing is, if it's during the day,
The concert would be at night. The filming piece maybe during the day. out in
and
the
with those, I
community.
think they're talking about specific people that showcase Pride. That are, maybe former alumni that have gone right through the roof, kind of things like that. And then some of our coaches, some of our nonprofits around town that really project what's best for Farmington, those kinds of things. But
Mm.
that's all I really know.
So it sounds like we need a little bit more information, but we're on board.
We're excited.
I
Yeah.
have those dates here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here it is. AP exams are May 3rd, 8th, and 11th, and the SAS testing is on May 18th.
Okay. All right. So SAS would be tough to move during the day, but the others could potentially go off campus if we needed to.
Anything else under public participation? All right, minutes.
Madam Chair, if I may, I'd like to make a motion to move minutes, April 17th, public session to a non-public discussion.
Sorry, I just saw it. Public session.
Public session needs to go in a non-public because they're.
Okay, I didn't know if you just meant public session, Roman numeral 2. Or
No,
also,
no.
TOO.
Okay, we can do A, C, D, E, and F if you'd like, but I have a couple of issues with
Yep.
public.
I'll second that. Any other discussion?
We're gonna we're gonna move public to non-public?
Right,
discussion?
because some of the wording of a couple of lines in there technically touch very closely on a set of sealed minutes. The information, the way the draft minutes are written are too close to me, for me, to be included in.
Okay.
We discuss it in non-public and see what the
And-
board wants to do, but.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 So that was public session of April 17th.
That was B, right?
B.
Yep.
All right. I'll entertain a motion for minutes of March 29th, public session.
So moved as written.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'll make a motion to approve non-public 1, 2, and 3 of April 17th.
Second.
All those in favor?
No, I have discussion.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm struggling here with whatever I did to my laptop here a little while ago, but I think it was non-public 3. Is that the? I don't know if I need-
Yeah, printed
I
copy.
don't know what's going on there.
Here's 3.
Well, do you have them all?
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
do.
it's 3. It's the nomination list.
So there's a nomination list at the end of public because that becomes part of,
Yeah.
and then there's a nomination list in 3. In the back of 3.
Okay, so this may have been in, can I see public? So I'm sorry.
That's okay.
This is 3.
Is this public?
That's not public.
Can I see the end of public?
Here's the end of.
I asked Mrs. Olsted to reflect a statement that I made. Is that in there? I'm sorry, I could not find it.
That was in,
I thought I
A
did.
statement
see it.
that I made
I
about
thought I did see
a
it.
nomination,
that was in
I think it was
non-public
in,
2, I believe.
and it is there.
Let me double check. That's 3, that's 1.
We come out of non-public for the nominations, right? And I'm wondering if it's in public.
I think it was in public.
It's in
Yeah.
public.
Um,
I think it's in at the end of the public statement. So, business,
Yeah, page 9.
which I have now scrambled.
Yeah, it is in there.
and yeah, it's on no. So, oh, there.
Got that right?
Yeah.
Should that be? in-
I'm not sure
in
it should be in
non-public?
public, but
Well,
I don't
that's,
know.
we moved that to non-public anyway,
Well,
Did.
to
right,
discuss.
yeah.
So,
yeah,
If you wanna
thank you.
change it.
No, that's fine. We'll talk about it when. Thank you. I'm all set to vote.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'll entertain a motion for F, April 17th, non-public, sealed minutes.
So move.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright. Reports.
Actually, if you want to collect these
Oh,
back.
yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
Curriculum.
Oh, and I do need to mention, I do not have an SRO report this
Okay.
month, so I think because we had changed it last month, I think I got my wires crossed with Scott, so I'll own that one.
Well, I think we had kind of flip-flopped of when we wanted him to do
We-
it, so
right,
I
yeah.
think, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My report is in the board folder, and I typically don't read it verbatim, but I did want to point out that I spoke in my report about my 3 goals that I recently updated. One of them being goal 1, use of multiple sources of evidence to inform decisions, and that's something that I'd like to bring to your attention this evening. And also goal 3, principal partnership. So I have in fact invited a guest to accompany me this evening because we have some really wonderful news that we want to share. Regarding goal number 1, this is use of multiple sources of evidence to inform decisions. This is when we're looking at data throughout the year to make adjustments to instruction, to see where students need additional support, to see where students need to have growth encouraged. This is work that we do regularly across the district. And in this year, particularly in Henry Wilson, we wanted to share with you some really wonderful outcome from this work and looking at evidence. So for board members that have seen my kind of graphic reports previously, I will be giving you a copy, but before our recent break, our full 4th grade took their New Hampshire SAS state assessments. And the results are really something wonderful to be celebrated. I do have something that I'll hand you, but I first want to point out that the changes in grade level proficiency are something to be very proud of, not just at the principal level and assistant principal level and the student level, but also for all the teachers that are involved in the work that they do. Sue Anderson, Maria Corey, Caitlin Perkins, and even Justina Wilson, who is their case manager for grade 4. But it also extends to all the teachers, case managers, and paraprofessionals, because the data meetings that we have, that Principal Pomeroy has, and I attend to support her, that really takes everybody's effort in the school to make that happen. So really, the results at one grade level are really a reflection of the entire school and the work that they do. So in English language arts, last year, third grade had 33% proficiency in English language arts. This year, they are 44% proficient. That's a substantial growth indicator. In mathematics, last year, they were 24% proficient, and they nearly doubled it. They are this year 47% proficient in math. Even if we look at the cohort, their progress from last year in third grade to fourth grade of this year, they had a percent change last year of 38% proficient, and this year, again, the 44%. So there's growth across the buildings as they came in as fourth graders. And in mathematics, they were 30% proficient in math last year, and I'm sorry, 36%, and they are 47%, as I mentioned this year. So I'm going to give you those charts right now so you can take a look at what I'm saying. But this is one of those use of evidence that's been occurring throughout the year that is really showing things come to fruition for our students, for their families, for our teachers, for the staff. It's really something to be celebrated.
And particularly with that shift in the math, oftentimes you see a little bit of an implementation dip. We actually saw growth despite the fact it's a new program. So it's huge.
So this is one way that I've been working to support principals in the district for the work that they do with their staff. And we have another recognition that we want to announce to you if you haven't heard, but I'm going to let Principal Pomeroy do that.
So to the mic.
Teacher voice. I figured they could hear me in the playground. Anyway, so I emailed you all, but here is officially, and I'll put it up on Facebook either tonight or tomorrow morning. The Uddy's New Hampshire Excellence in Education Awards is going to be recognized in Henry Wilson Memorial School for a special recognition award. Well, we are not there yet for Middle School of the Year. We are definitely on our way, and they felt that they could not recognize us. And our award's going to be for our community participation in putting our students first. And so I wanted to give each one of you a invitation, and realizing that if more than 2 of you come, it will be a quorum, so you're gonna have to figure that out.
And do you want me to talk about the table while you?
Sure. If you want.
Okay,
A lot of different things I'm gonna ask you for.
Yeah,
+1 here.
So with the Eddie's piece, we have 4 tickets. Right now, we have about 2 tables worth of people who would like to attend. A table is $600.
I wasn't listening to the beginning.
That's okay. So
Love the
we have about.
You're excited by the
Yeah.
When you started talking about money, I started listening. Sorry.
So this does give a table of 10 is $600. Right, we have 4 tickets. So right now we have about 2 tables worth of folks who are wanting or probably should be there, and looking to see if this is something that the board would agree that we would look at picking up the cost, particularly for the teachers to be there for that, I would like very much to do.
Think they deserve it.
I would
Hard
agree.
work,
So-
The recognition,
Yeah.
If
absolutely.
you need that in a form of a motion or a consensus.
I think
Nope.
since it's spending money, probably a motion is good.
Yep, so moved. I will make a motion to fund the Henry Wilson Special Recognition Award banquet, dinner, whatever we want to call it. Do we want to do you need us to specify from where or?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I could.
Do we have a
so
second?
fund-
Second.
Any discussion?
I do.
Okay.
So if we're gonna fund it, then it's yes to any teacher who wants to go, right?
Mhm.
You know what I'm
So it
saying?
would be-
Like
yeah.
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 if a Z teacher says, geez, I'd really like to go to that. I mean, if we're gonna, I don't want us to be like, well, we're only taking this many. I mean, if
Yeah.
we're gonna fund it, it
Right.
should be open to those who wanna go.
Yeah. I don't know if we have a limit on how many tables we can have. We'll
Right,
find
yeah.
out. But I probably first come, first served. So
We can pack the house.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think when
That's
we
fair,
talk about
yeah.
school board funding, school
Yeah.
budget funding, we should
needs
be
to
as
be inclusive.
inclusive as we can.
Yep.
And my other question, I'm just gonna ask it here is the Eddies any kind of extension of the Department of Ed at all? Or is it a private, do we know that? No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's get on to Google.
Yeah. I'm just curious.
Nicole's on the Google. Just wait.
Oh, you Googled it?
She is,
Oh.
I think.
I could answer it myself. I wasn't sure if we knew. And then just a sort of a technical question. We identified at the state level as a middle school now at Henry Wilson? Used to be an upper elementary.
We are an elementary school as far as the state is concerned.
Yeah.
But because of where our designation falls, they would put us in a middle school. They don't have an upper elementary category. So they would put us in middle school because we go through 8th grade.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So we will find out tomorrow how many tables we can have and
Keep us posted.
so, and if, depending upon how many board members want to attend, you know, we can post it if we need to. Just so you know, the award ceremony goes from about 3 until 8 or 8:30. So if you're figuring it's an in and out, it's not.
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday,
That's what I was
yes.
just looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to work.
But both Stacy and Jess were there
For the-
representing
yeah.
the board and met these people, so that was pretty cool.
Definitely. It was a good day.
It was.
So, since we're in a really good mood, I'm gonna go in my last principals report. So last year we took the 8th grade to Canopy Lake Park. The lines were crazy. So this year we'd like to switch to Splashtown, Funtown Splashtown,
Love that place.
but it's in Maine, so I need your permission.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. And I do want to put on the table that ultimately I would like to move the trip to potentially the fall and make the big 8th grade trip a trip to Boston. So I think that would be fantastic, you know, making a full day of it. But that's the long-term goal would be to go to Boston and put this earlier in the year.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you need me for anything else?
No,
but it's
been wonderful
working with you all year.
It is part of the DOA.
It is.
Student services.
Thank you for,
Pretty sure.
I hate calling her. I feel like I've got nothing. So April's been a busy month for us, finishing up evaluations, meetings, and related paperwork for the current year. We're talking about what we want to see happening in the fall already. And we're also planning for extended school year, which is gonna start in July. Observations for the paraprofessionals have been completed and handed out. They've all received them. And I did them a little differently this year, which allowed me to actually see them in a working environment and not have to observe 34 small group instructions, which is great. But it's kind of like they've been set up for me to observe. So I like just going in unannounced and seeing what they truly do and not what they've prepared, which was actually very refreshing this year. So their evaluations have also been completed, and they've all signed up for their meetings, which take place Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. So they'll be all done and in hand and signed by then. There are 153 special education students in all. We've had 48 three-year evals completed and meetings held, 11 background information checks completed, 16 evals completed and waiting for their meetings, and 3 waiting in the wings. And the 3 that are waiting are actually ones that are due in October, but with backwards planning, we move them till late in the spring and get them done so that the new case managers aren't having evaluations for kids that they don't know. Let's see, we are currently looking still for case managers, paras, and speech pathologists for the next school years. The grade level numbers are listed below. I don't believe they've changed, and we still have 6 out of district students, 2 court-ordered placements, and 3 post-grads.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Laurel? Thank you. Off the hook easy tonight.
Thank you.
All right, we moved financials to next meeting because obviously it's the first. We're coming off vacation, so there wasn't much to chit chat about there yet. But we did want to. Brian is here.
He's there. I have this stuff on the MS-22.
Okay, I didn't know if you were going to talk or he's going to talk.
So I have. So I have a side by side for you of the.
It's the same thing, but I don't get my numbers mixed up. So this is the first page side by side. This is the back page of the revised. Right down.
I might need glasses.
Just kidding.
Mary, coming at you. It's not you. I really think I need glasses.
This is a crosswalk of the basic. So, on Monday morning, the 17th, I did not know, but we had gotten a call from DRA saying, hey, it looks like you double counted your CBAs. Need to revise this. So I went back in and had looked at, where we were. And yes, if you look at the one with the green lines, the top part shows you the appropriations, what we had from Article 3. And if you go out to the right, it just breaks out the amounts that were included in Article 3. And then Article 6, which was the teacher's contract, Article 4, which was the CBA. So that's the total amount that should be shown on the bottom of the MS-22. So on the first one, we were over by exactly 410,838, which is exactly the amount of the CBAs. They were double counted. And so when you look at the revision, which was done after our looking at it first time, the revision, the lines that are in orange, those are the ones that changed. So the first 2 special programs, and then looking at, actually I should have also highlighted down below where we were in support staff. So If you look at the first three, regular programs, special programs, that's general ed, special ed. So those were changed to reflect the fact that those were overcounted. The second line or the third line that's highlighted, that was a shift. Actually, one of those went up by $12,866, and the other one went down by the same amount, just to reflect the proportionalities. When you look at the MS-22, the appropriations as voted, that's the part that is what is the final amount that goes toward the beginning of the documents. This isn't what tax rate setting is off of, but this is what documents, this is what was appropriated. The other three columns, middle, junior high, and high, or elementary, middle, junior, and high, those are statistical columns that are broken out. So when you look at the back page, the one that's a little bit easier to read, Nicole, the one that has my squiggly lines on it, those last three columns are statistical only. So when you get down to the appropriations, it also shows $75,000 that is broken out to food service. But that's not broken out across the three. So if you add up the far left-hand column, it gives you the figure that we're supposed to have for total appropriations. But if you add up the elementary and the high school together, it's $75,000 off because it's not broken out. And I do have an email from DRA that says that's exactly right, it's not supposed to be. But if somebody is doing that math across, they're going to go, wait, it's not right. It is, and that's why. The other one that should have been highlighted in orange, and I realize it was not, under 2600 on the MS-22 on the front side, 2600 to 2699 plant operations. That's where Article 4 was double counted on the first one, and that was subtracted on the second one. So those are the amounts that changed, and we have the amended MS-22. Do you have that with you?
Do we need to
So
sign the?
I'm assuming you'd like to re-sign the correct one. I mean, we have the cover page, but I'm not reusing it until you see this and you're good with it, so. Are there any questions on the MS-22? Thank you.
Anyone else have?
No, I think I'm good. I was just looking at it, that's all.
I will pass that along. And under financials, I do have the reconciliation reports for Fund 22, actually Fund 21, excuse me, for food service. I do not have Fund 10 with me. I will have those to you as soon as possible.
Those don't get done monthly?
We've had some problems with Infinite Visions, and those are still in process. They're still in process.
Can I ask when the last time a bank reconciliation was completed?
We had problems with the rollover in July.
9 months. I guess I just need to state that that's a problem.
I don't disagree, Mary.
What action is being taken to correct that? I mean, if you don't have a reconciled bank account, none of the other reports are accurate either. I mean, you have a balance sheet. Balance sheet has that as an asset item, but if it's not reconciled, do you know that it is or it isn't?
Our reconciliations were actually, most of them were actually done, but we've had to roll over our balance many times, and every time we roll over the balance, it throws off every single reconciliation. So we've been going back. Matter of fact, Cheryl and I spent a couple hours together today, as well as with Infinite Visions, with 2 people from Infinite Visions, waiting for a third to get on the phone to help us out with this, because the rollover process is not going as they told us it was going to go. So that's the issue we're having. We actually had a bunch from reconciled, and then once we rolled it over, it threw everything off for the entire year.
And when you say rollover,
We roll over from year to year, fiscal year to fiscal year. We have to roll it over because we treat every year separately.
And so we've been able to account for the ins and the outs. There's some pieces that have been where it comes in on one month and gets accounted in a second month, or where there's been an in or an out, where there's been a voided check or a check that hasn't been cashed. There's been some of those
The
pieces as well.
training they gave us and the training documents they gave us on how to handle certain situations, like a voided check, an old check or something like that, was not correct. So when I went to do it, it threw off the year you did it in and the year that it should have been done. So
but
And so,
when you say it comes in 1 month and gets recorded in the next, unless I'm misunderstanding something, that should be a deposit in transit on your balance sheet.
Right.
I mean, it's
And-
accounted for. It's,
I mean, to me, it's the rollover. I don't know about.
yeah, so
the
it may be,
back and forth.
it's probably just the rollover.
It's the roll, to
yeah.
me, it's the rollover, because every time we do the rollover, the numbers change, and we have to make sure we get that correct. And that's the issue we've been having, which Cheryl and I have been working on pretty diligently over the last month.
so
And we-
I think I'm understanding is if those are correct, then the balance sheets and the treasurer's reports and all of the other things that I
Well,
was,
we don't have treasury reports right now. We
Because
we
you do a
they're
monthly
trying-
treasure.
Well,
No, we don't.
because the reconciliations have been off, we're still getting that piece.
So I'm sorry, Brian, we don't do monthly treasurer's reports
We don't have monthly treasury
You don't
reports
have
from
them,
those
but-
until they're completed,
under the
until the
normal.
reconciliations are
Yes.
completed.
Okay.
Right.
While he's there, can I ask about the audit?
It's in the folder, actually.
It's in the,
It didn't go in until today, Mary. It's in there.
okay,
And my follow-up with that, Mary, is, I know that you are the representative of the audit committee. Do we need to look at getting the audit committee together to look at that?
yeah, let me take a look at it first.
Of course, of
I
course.
mean, it could just be a simple, little quick meeting.
Okay.
To do that. It's really gonna depend on the content. I mean,
Right.
some audits are absolutely perfect and some have a lot of things, so before I commit to,
Oh, no,
I can
no,
do
that's,
that,
I
but
just, basically, I'm letting you know, I haven't forgotten, we need to get that together, so.
yeah, that sounds fine.
Anybody else have anything on financials? We good? Good, thank you.
Let's
SRO, we just talked about, we are moving
Right.
to next meeting. Learning enhancement, I didn't have anything, well, not that I didn't have anything, I did not have time to put anything together. And I don't know,
Do we want to just kind of go from the minutes
I
that are
mean,
there and
yeah,
chat?
we can move the minutes over.
Will you, do we want to just take as it was, or were you gonna encapsulate?
Either way, I just didn't have the luxury of time to.
I get that.
We had also talked about uploading some of the more recent minutes at least.
How far back would you like, Mary?
No, I just need to have a starting point. I don't
Yeah.
know, a couple of 3 months,
I was gonna
maybe.
say 6
Okay.
months.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so
Okay.
back to say November?
Yeah, like I said, the last one I
Okay.
saw was from Josh Whitehouse, so
That's been a while.
it's been
Okay, all right. Okay, we can get those moved over.
All right, new business.
I have in your folder a job description, and you've been given the backside of that now too. We are looking, we've had a technology position at Valley View. It went unfilled this year. Wanting to move that to a STEM/tech integrator position as opposed to just a straight technology. I mean, yes, we still need keyboarding and some of those other pieces, but really looking to have it be more integrated in the work that the teachers are doing in the classroom, and also with a little bit more STEM focus too. So worked with Blake and putting together, you know, what he's looking at for moving this forward. And then the other pieces are fairly boilerplate to the, and what we are looking to do moving forward is having anyone who signs a contract, have them sign the job description that goes with it, which is why there's, I think there's a, there's a place to sign it.
Yeah.
So that we also have that on file, that they've at least acknowledged receipt. So there won't necessarily be a quiz later, but, so I don't know if you have any questions on, or suggestions.
Does kind of tweaking the job description and title, do you think open it to more people, or just?
I think what it does is if someone is applying, it gives a better view of what we're looking for. Because I'm not looking for just a keyboarding teacher for K through 3. I, do want that to be a more expanded role. So that's where the difference in here. We don't have a separate teacher's job description for everything in teacher. I would like to move toward having more of those better descripted pieces. We'll still have the overall teacher job description. So if somebody goes for their employment physical, this is the generic that I need you to certify that they're not likely to keel over and cause me paperwork.
Right.
But as far as the other piece, so that there's a little bit more, because what a kindergarten teacher does and what a physics teacher does are very different.
Yeah.
And I think
Well, but-
acknowledging that, or at least, high school teacher,
Right.
middle school, elementary,
Mm.
and then if there's a specialized, what a music teacher doesn't look like. So there should be a separate music description, those sorts of things. And we did do an updated for life skills special ed, the special ed description is different from.
I'm okay with that. I don't know if anybody has any
I
other.
have online. I looked at it. Yeah, no, I thought it was great.
I would love to be able to post it, because it is open, so.
Great.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Unfinished business. I know, Stacy, you and I need to have a signing party for the assurances.
Yes.
Whether that's tonight or just to make sure that doesn't go
I'll
by the
switch to
wayside.
pen.
Give you
Yep.
that time.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if anybody has any other unfinished business they want to. I know we were on vacation last week and
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Practice for Larry, still under.
Yes.
The minutes of that extraordinary need she didn't tonight. LEC, we kind of went over. We can put up at least the most recent minutes, so that's gonna bring me up to what kind of things go on there. Mainstay updates, nothing?
Nothing since our last meeting.
no news is good news.
Sure.
We'll go with that.
So we'll do November through April for the LEC.
And
minutes.
along with the tractor questions, SRO vehicle?
That's all in the same. Yeah,
Oh,
I got them to budge a little bit on a couple of things this last week, but I'm still,
Where do we stand on the lighting project?
The lighting project, we had been given, thank you, but don't bother to reapply or to apply for the full thing for, the first grant that I had asked for. I know the previous board did not want to look at the municipal lease that Affinity was looking to try to give us information on. So at this point, unless, and again, I can go back the ESSER route. I'm still not convinced that it can't go in ESSER. I think it fits that definition. Yes, I have in writing from the DOE a no, but I am willing to put that in my tractor and SRO vehicle bucket.
Remember,
I think it needs to happen, and I think it's still doable.
Because these savings, energy savings are going to pretty much pay for it.
Yes,
We received permission from the taxpayers 2 years ago, 3?
3 years
They
ago.
wanted us to do this,
Right.
so.
And I guess the question becomes, is that the permission to move forward? It was 3 years ago. And when we brought it up before, they said, yes, we want you to look at doing this. But it's permission from 3 years ago. So is
Well,
it
and
still
that's-
permissible?
I guess my thing
yeah.
would be, can we just refresh dates and say, okay, this is what we got 3 years ago, does it still stand?
Right.
Is
Right.
there, if we have to front load the equipment first part through, do we do that through a bond? I mean, there was a question about a bond when we put it to the taxpayers.
Right. And we didn't have, the way it was written, we didn't have that latitude to go that route. Do
I guess
we?
Basically, for me, at this point, let's just like bring it back up to the top of the table. and
Okay.
Let's get working
I
on
feel
it.
the same way.
So with that, do you want me to continue to pursue what I can on the municipal lease to see what that option looks like and what's involved in that?
I'm thinking we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I almost forget where we are with this.
That's why it-
Yes,
I know. Well,
yes.
The proposal was
So-
put forward
Yep.
by what company?
Affinity Lighting.
Right.
Yeah,
And
we had
they
that
helped,
source.
they helped with the grant piece. And the grant came back and said, no. Basically, we didn't fit within the parameter of their high needs group. So we weren't, there was only 500, I forget what the amount was, but it was some short millions for the entire country that we were competing for. So, okay. But I think, as I said, I'm still not convinced that ESSER can't go there either.
Right.
You have the discussion on the tractors and throw
I-
it in there.
Right.
I'm more than willing to. So,
Already got their ear.
yeah.
Improvements to the website,
Ugh.
I'm not,
So-
I might be dreaming, but I was thinking we talked about maybe even
I have something as a nomination and
okay.
non-public, so that might help.
And, not an immediate, but when we get into sensitive docs, I don't know about anybody else, but I wind up opening everyone saying, okay, nothing there, okay, nothing here.
I need to just blow it out and
Yeah,
start
I
over.
guess-
I will do that.
Can clean up the unused folders, like if it's I don't know, let's say it's got a title and it's something that we haven't, just ditch it.
Archive it.
Yeah.
Just, get it.
I'll
and-
archive it so that
Yeah,
it's
so
still
that-
there, but we can just get down to current week and,
Right.
Yeah, and current week, and then once we get into current week, there's
right.
that
There's a
many
lot,
too,
yeah.
so
So-
that's what I spend all my time going.
Okay. I will try to save you some time, Mary.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I did want to add that the memo to the board that you had done a couple of, that's extremely helpful to me.
Okay.
That's a great, it takes
Yeah,
half of my,
Kind of streamlines it.
half of,
Okay.
yeah, the chemistry is definitely there.
That helps to know that that's helpful. I
Yes,
will.
please. I mean, even
Okay.
in the abbreviated form, it lets us know this is in motion
Okay.
that we're doing with.
this morning with contracts also being due in the line out my door, that wasn't gonna happen, but I will try to make sure we have it for moving forward.
I am good.
Anyone else have anything? Nope. Any other public participation? Going once, going twice. Our next meeting is May 15th. We have some manifests to sign, and I will make a motion to go into non-public session 1 under RSA 91A 3, nominations and resignations.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Roll.
Have a good night. Mhm.